Alright, so Kuro have sent out a new satisfactory survey to us. They sent this yesterday, but I'm only going to answer it today, and I have no idea what is in this questionnaire. But let's get into the questionnaire. There is a bit of a nice letter here, or terminal message from Yang Yang. They're speaking about how spring draws near and that she is never far from the sea. By participating in the survey, you confirm that you have read and agreed to all the above terms and conditions. If you agree, please select start below and click next to begin the survey. You guys read the T's and C's? How would you rate your overall experience with Wuthering Waves version 2.1, Waves Sing and the Cerulean Bird Call so far? I've enjoyed it. This immediately very satisfied. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. I'll say overall satisfied. I kind of feel like there's been a bit of dead space before Brand released, and now after his release, like the whole hype about Brand's release. If you have completed all the events and that, you're just chilling, because exploring the new region doesn't take too long. It's mostly about this fishing every day, doing the 5 premium requests. But overall, I am satisfied. I really enjoyed what was on offer from these events. I just wish there was more, but I guess that's like every game that you would just want more if you're really enjoying it. Based on your experience with the current version, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Combat, Brand is really fun. Phoebe, I like more of the lore side, the symbolism of Phoebe being a titan and the cerulean bird being possibly a kingfisher, and that being incorporated onto a staff which is possibly a caduceus and has ties to a divinity or the actual sentinel imperator. Resonator building. Okay, that's an interesting one. We did receive some new enemies for the sets, but you can kind of look at that by seeing how many current enemies are available for a set, and there's usually around 14 to 16, I believe, for a full set. So when you see there's a number significantly lower than that, you know that there are more enemies coming in a future patch for that set. So overall, I would say I'm pretty satisfied. You know, you can unlimited farm for your resonator. The only issue I have is materials, but that's because I'm not spending my wave plate on materials at the moment, or tuners, whatever they're called. I've been spending them on getting every character that is a level 90 to have them maxed out with all of their talents. World exploration, it was pretty fun, you know, going around with the ships and that. I think Kuro's in a good place of understanding that players don't want to be limited on traveling around on that. Yes, there is a stamina bar for the flight and it only works in Rinascita, but you know, it's baby steps. We could be getting something later on as we explore the other major or main cities in Wolong. The story, you know, I would say it's overall satisfied. What I've been hoping for is a story that really explains all these things. I think there are still a lot of unanswered questions about the story, especially relating to the Sentinel Imperator and the Threnodian, since both have been dormant according to the Black Shores. What I am hoping to see is a new Fraxidus member, not just the little glimpse we saw during Jian's reveal, and something that explains why we have these divine envoys or all these special echoes that are like Lorelei, Ginahom, and Cetus. Based on your experience with the current version, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Resonator design, I would say overall satisfied. I feel like there is something missing. A bit of a dynamic or animated texture on characters would go a long way in really creating these vibrant and eye-catching characters, but overall they're satisfied. They've got very unique looks, and their design also indicates their position, and it's just meaningful, their designs. Environment design, I absolutely love Rinascita, so there is nothing I can say that's bad about Rinascita. The architecture is amazing, and the fact that they incorporate these gods or deities that are symbolic in Greco-Roman mythology to what we have now, I think is absolutely amazing to interconnect all of these things or have them as a tangled truth in the inverted tower. The UI design, you know, I used to during CBT2 and before, okay, not before CBT2 because the font kind of changed then, but I used to think that the font was a bit I didn't like it that much. I am actually satisfied with it now, like it's normal to me. What I do hope is that they have a setting that will allow us to have the CBT1 text or fonts and style as well, because I kind of dig it. That is when I first saw Wuthering Waves. It's not really just this nostalgia thing, but it's when I first experienced the game, that's what it was like with the UI and the fonts and the damage numbers. So yeah, if we could toggle that, that would be insane. But I don't think there are many people who are requesting for such a thing. Events and challenges. The Tactical Simulacra Infinite Battle Simulation. I love the combat events. I always want more, so I think they're doing a pretty good job there. I really do want something where I can load in lobby to lobby, have a unique experience, and just play through the game. Based on your experience with the current version, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Again, same question. I'm going to say unable to raise because I haven't really been playing with the music on. I actually listen to their albums on Spotify so that I can match the background music with some videos. Performance optimization, I have a very good PC, so I am going to say very satisfied. And co-op experience, I think the only co-op I did was the Apex Raguna race. I'm going to say overall satisfied. It would be nice to have a leaderboard or something along that lines to show what are the top times and the average times for the races, so that you're not just comparing yourself, or it's not just I come first, second, or third, but you actually know how you're averaging compared to the global player base. And leaderboards is something that is available in their other title, PGR. So it would be nice to see Kuro go in that direction. What do you think of the amount of playable content in Wave Sing and the Cerulean Bird Calls? For this, I am going to say there is limited content, and this is mainly because it's not repeatable in a lobby-to-lobby scenario, so I can't load in and have this unique experience every time I go through something. But that's just how it goes in the gacha industry. There's no real lobby-to-lobby repeatability or randomness. How satisfied are you with the Echo Auto Equip? So I have not experienced it yet, so I'm not going to comment on that. How satisfied are you with the Echo recommendation? I have used that just to look at what people are doing, and I think overall satisfied. I would like to see a bold rating type of statistic, but I don't think that would fall under the Echo recommendation. But the statistic can just be to show this is what a 100% or 100% rated character, and it doesn't have to be percentage, it could be an arbitrary number as well, just a rating for your characters, so I know, okay, I could do better or something like that. How satisfied are you with the Echo preset? Very satisfied. How satisfied are you with the optimizations made to the in-game camera's functionality? I've only used this when trying to get angles for different scenes in the game for videos, but overall I'd say very satisfied. I like that they are giving attention to these type of features, because there are most definitely players that use this more than I do, and I'm sure that they can give a better point of view. Which of the following gameplay features would you like to see included in Wuthering Waves? Now Kuro is asking a big question. Mini games I could play with my friends, with or against? I would like some mini games I could play against my friends, you know, just for a little PvP fun. If it comes down to combat, I think in the grander scale of things, it is going to lead to a pay-to-win aspect where people have S6 characters versus those that have S0. So there needs to be some external factor that levels the playing field in a PvP scenario. If there are mini games that are a bit more on the fun side of things and to chill with your friends, I'm all for it. But for the PvP aspect, yes, the pros are that it does enable lobby-to-lobby repeatability, because when two people are interacting against each other, you will never experience the same thing from one lobby to another. And that is why games like Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, all these PvP games, Fortnite, Apex Legends, whatever you can think of, all of these games, every time you load into a lobby, it's a different experience that you have, even if you do the same thing. And that's because there are 100 odd players that are doing their own thing in their own way every time you play the match. And when that lobby-to-lobby repeatability is answered in the gacha industry, which I do think Kuro will be the first to really solve that issue, then you're going to see Wuthering Waves really pop off. Assembly line automated manufacturing simulation. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. An in-game space of my own that I could spruce up, so like the Serena Teapot. Mini games I could play with other in-game characters. Okay, so kind of like going on the gondola with one of your characters, but this time you're actually playing games with them. Okay. Farming or farming simulation. So assembly line automatic manufacturing simulation, and farming simulation. I think if they're looking to include these as events of their own, like the current fishing event, what I would like to see in the future is an economy based on these currencies that are used within these mini games. So eventually there's like a bureau where you have all these different currencies that are required and can be exchanged to get rewards and really get items that increase the value of your characters or something along those lines to really motivate us to play these mini games outside of their event duration. Mini games I could play with other in-game characters. Again, that comes down to the repeatability. Yes, it is short-term repeatable that you can change things up, like the Tower of Adversity and the WuWa and even the Elusive Realm, where every time they have an update, it's good for a short amount of time. But lobby to lobby, every time you go into one lobby to the next, you eventually get to know all the cards, all of the buffs, and you just go for the optimal ones that you want. So if they can achieve lobby to lobby repeatability with PvE or in-game characters, then the game really will go a far way in terms of concurrent players and viewership on Twitch, which I think would really set the gacha industry and Wuthering Waves above the other games and other industries. An in-game space of my own that I could spruce up. I don't think this is long-term repeatable. I think this is short-term repeatable. You know, you get to make your place look nice. It's a nice thing for a few weeks, but what we really need is lobby-to-lobby repeatability that allows us to use our characters that we spend a lot of time building, and that when we watch somebody experience it on a stream or on a video, there is always this unique experience. So for my answer, I am going to select all of them except the last one, because everything I've mentioned about these gameplay features I have written and documented and sent to Kuro Games, so I'm not going to add it to the survey because it is quite in depth. As far as Wuthering Waves is concerned, what is the most comfortable level of player-to-player interaction for you? Okay, I'm gonna go with very high. It's just like you have the extreme version of everything, but that doesn't mean that things like number 3 and number 4 cannot be included, even number 2. To appeal to a large group of audience, I don't think having solo gameplay is the way to go. I do think there needs to be interactivity between players, and that's why I say number 3 is the base, in my opinion. Then number 4 and number 5. I would go with the extreme. I don't mind any of these type of game modes, to be honest. Number 3 involves like game modes that are really challenging and requires teamwork, which would be nice. Number 4 is working together against another group of players. And number 5 is just flat out PvP, work together, work by yourself against a group of players, which, you know, isn't bad in itself. Alright, what are your expectations for Wuthering Waves co-op mode or multiplayer mode? So this is what I wrote to Kuro, and I want to see if I can just copy and paste this. I don't know what the word count will be for the game mode, but let's see. Aha! Alright, we have everything. Would you find it useful to have an in-game feature that lets you review the main quest you've completed? Yes. Yes, please. Rinascita 2.0 is the perfect example where we have these visions, this Cristoforo story of what is supposedly going on and has happened in Rinascita, and to put everything together you have to go through it over and over again, and it's key pieces of information of different parts of this history of Rinascita and the timeline. So yes, if we can have something that where we can go through the quest, go through the cutscenes, I would absolutely love it. What types of content from the main quest would you review? Story summary, cutscenes that showcase combat highlights, cutscenes that showcase bonding moments between Rove and other resonators. Quite a statement, that bonding moments. I do think there needs to be emotional connection for us as players and these other characters in the game, so that when they do, you know, off those other characters in the story, it is quite meaningful, you know. We might shed a tear or two because we really formed a good connection. Plots from the previous subsequent chapters. I think we kind of do have that where we can just read through the voice lines. That kind of falls under story summary. I don't know if reading the voice lines or the dialogue from these previous chapters is included in that, but yeah, it is important that we have that explanation of important concepts like divinities, imperator, resonator, remnant frequency, reverberations, Thronodian. I mean, I go through all of this, so I think I should tick every one of these just to make lore videos and really find out what is happening, where the inspiration could be coming from. For our next question, are you looking forward to any of the following upcoming games? Arknight's Enfield, I have not played or seen it. Duet Night Abyss, I've tuned into Kydro TV stream for a bit when he was playing it, so I've seen a little bit of it. I am under the impression that there won't be a game that can compete with Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, just because of how the elemental system works and how the powers work, where Wuthering Waves is using sound to explain how powers are transferred, and Genshin Impact is using light. So if we have those two senses already used, then there's only 3 remaining senses left, which would be taste, smell, and touch. So yes, you can touch the elements and absorb it as an explanation for how that elemental system works, but I don't think the next competitor in this industry is going to follow that kind of formula. Gacha games are especially important in terms of revenue because story games like Black Myth Wukong or anything that is competing for Game of the Year, they have like a 3-week to 1-month period where they are super popular and then they just die out. Whereas we have Genshin and Wuthering Waves that every 6 weeks we have an update, the popularity never really dies down over a few years. So that kind of formula can be incorporated to story-told games and single-player games for companies that are really looking for this consistent revenue over a good or long period of time. Ananta, it's the anime GTA, so I'm going to say I am looking forward to that. NTE, I haven't really kept up to it. The Hidden Ones, never heard of it. Moon Gaze, I think I heard of this, but again, I haven't really looked into it. Honor of Kings, nope. Azure Promelia, nope. Roku Kingdom, nope. I have not heard of any of these games over here. Based on your experience with the game so far, do you have any additional feedback or suggestions? I'm going to leave this open. I think they are getting a lot of additional feedback and submit. Yep, hey, that is the end of the survey and the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts down below and I will see you in the next video.